Evan said to me, he was like, "Do you know, I heard that a lot of Irish Halloween traditions come from Ireland." I was like, no, we dress up in trash bags.
Yeah.
Okay, is that a tradition?
Can we eat? I'm so hungry.
Oh yeah, sorry. Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of Need to Know. I'm Gemma Stafford, professional chef, cookbook author, and the creator of Bigger Bolder Baking. And as always, every week I'm joined by our culinary director, Ami Shukla. Welcome, Ami.
Thank you.
You say welcome when you're here all the time.
Well, I like to be welcomed no
I want to
matter
say
what.
welcome back because you're always here and so am I. Oh, you have nowhere else to go. How you doing?
Good. Getting excited for Halloween.
Yes. Have you seen the front of my house?
Yes. Yeah.
To be fair, my front garden has always been very spooky, but this is the time of year it really shines.
it's finally in its own.
Yeah. Now it all makes sense.
Yeah, right.
All the dead plants and the soil and the dead grass.
Oh yeah. Now there was a few years ago. My kids wanted to make a spooky Halloween movie, and the front of our house was like perfect for like an abandoned graveyard house, and I think it wasn't even during Halloween. So I know how you feel.
Always ready.
Well, speaking of Halloween, Gemma, I wanted to get hot from the oven and start out with a ghost story.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Is it real?
Well, one day at the stroke of midnight, Rosie Grant walked into a graveyard. Okay, it's not true. There is the true part is there's a woman named Rosie Grant, and she did walk into a graveyard, but it wasn't at the stroke of midnight. So
It was like on her lunch break.
yeah, her lunch break.
Did she bring her tuna salad with her?
Yeah, exactly. Maybe. Okay, so have you ever heard of this trend of recipes on tombstones?
No.
Okay, so this is super cool. So Rosie Grant she's a librarian here in LA.
Okay.
And when she was in college over COVID, she had an internship as an archivist for the Congressional Cemetery in Washington, D.C. And she was taking one of those like long, distant walks like we all did during COVID. And it was during that time where she came across her very first tombstone that had a recipe on it. So it was like I think the gravestone actually had like a carving of an open book. And then written on it was a recipe. So, and I think this intrigued her. And so since then, she's been making it her mission to recreate the recipes she's found. And she's traveled all over the states, Alaska to Louisiana to Maine. She's found these recipe tombstones. And I think she's also been around the world doing this. And she's connected with the families if she's been able to contact them, and has made all of these recipes she's found. I think she found a total of 52 recipes. And they're all from like the past 30 years. So like a fairly recent trend. And she said the recipes are for anything from like chocolate chip cookies to barbecue sauce to fruit cake.
That all makes the barbecue sauce definitely makes sense. It's like you can have it over my dead body.
Yeah, well,
or the chocolate chip cookies.
Exactly. Yeah. So like, and then and sometimes it's like a secret recipe that someone hasn't revealed until they've died.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay, now you can have it.
I know, this totally makes sense to me.
Yeah.
This is and you said people have been doing it for like 30 years?
Yeah.
I've never heard of this.
Well, I think there is an account of like in Roman, like in like 30 BCE, there was like a Roman baker named Eurysaces who had like depictions of baking bread on his tombstone. But since then,
since Ulysses,
whoever that was.
You know what? I love as you know, as people who bake, and I'm sure a lot of people listening to this now, I don't have any recipes that are secret.
Right.
All of my recipes are out there. If I worked in kitchens still, there would be lots of secret recipes.
Right.
This totally makes sense to me. And I think what would be my recipe?
Yeah, what would be your recipe?
Like chocolate chip cookie is a great one.
Mm-hmm.
And because we have a really good chocolate chip cookie recipe. Like I wondered my chocolate chip cookie recipe with the olive oil. Would that be it?
Do you think that would be like a recipe that, like, I mean, you share all your recipes. There
Yeah,
aren't
there's
any.
nothing secret.
I was going to say, do you have any recipes that you're kind of like, that one's mine?
Not
and I don't want to
anymore.
give it
Not
away?
that way since I started. In kitchens, I did. Yes. And I think we talked about this before, where it's very common for chefs to leave out ingredients, and like, very similar to, I'm sure, like these barbecue masters who are making their sauces and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I would say a chocolate chip cookie, maybe my olive oil one.
Yeah.
What would be on your, not to get too morbid, what would be on your tombstone?
I don't know, maybe my shortbread, maybe one of my cookies. Yeah, I mean, because I still haven't really like given away those recipes, but I mean, I do insist that I'm still developing them. So, but like,
Maybe not yet. Maybe you haven't come across it yet.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Or is it like the kind of thing that everybody just universally loves, whatever it is?
That's why I picked chocolate chip cookies. A shortbread's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that idea.
Just an example of like one of the recipes in the book. There's this woman named, or she was named Naomi Odessa Miller Dawson, and on her headstone she has a recipe for Spritz cookies.
Oh yeah,
and she was that was from Brooklyn's Greenwood Cemetery, and she never gave that recipe away.
Interesting.
She was an avid baker. She baked all her life. She would bake this cookie during the holidays, and then yeah.
It probably says like if it's Spritz cookies, she might have like some sort of German ancestry. Like I wonder,
maybe
like do you have something that like would I put on scones? Would that be more, or like Irish shortbread or something?
Something that's connected to you. I don't know. I feel like that's like a
Mashed
lot
potatoes.
to think about. Yeah. Oh no, what to do?
Don't get me started on the different ways that you can make a mashed potato. But that's interesting. So tell me, what's the deal with this girl? We should go try and find her. She's in LA.
Well, she's published a book. It just came out on October 7th. It's called To Die For. And you can get it on Amazon.
That is awesome.
And she hears from a lot of her followers. She's got like, over 200,000 followers. Her videos have gotten millions and millions of views. But she hears from a lot of them that they intend to put recipes on their headstones.
Do you know what? I absolutely would do that.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I mean, I've spent them, like, I don't see myself changing careers at this point in my life. Like, I've always been a baker. Like, why wouldn't I do that? And it says a lot about me.
Yeah. And I think it's just kind of, there's something sweet about that. There's like a real, like a communication there when you're there. I don't know. It's lovely.
Nice. I'm going to look into that book.
Yeah.
On Amazon, you said?
Yeah, it's on Amazon. Yeah, you can definitely get it on Amazon. So, Gemma, it's time for In the Mix now. And I wanted to talk about Halloween and all things Halloween. But so every year Halloween seems to be like a bigger and bigger deal. It's amazing that its roots are in Ireland. And it's connected to this ancient Celtic festival of Samhain. Samhain.
Yeah.
And the Christian holiday of All Saints' Day, which I didn't know anything about this. And I was really fascinated I didn't even know Halloween was Irish.
So I think a few years ago, Kevin, when we would talk about traditions and everything like that, I always said Halloween was not big in Ireland. We did not celebrate a trick-or-treating Halloween. We did celebrate, but we just didn't do it the way that you do it in America today. So Samhain is a time of year that it represents the end of harvest, but the beginning of winter. And it's a time believed where spirits would kind of walk among us. That very day that spirits would show up, and that's why people started to, and this is not what happens in America, but like bonfires, which is what happened in Ireland and happens in England, is people would light bonfires to ward away the evil spirits. Also get dressed up in costumes to scare away spirits, which is what we know today. So next day on November 1st is All Saints' Day. And
I've heard of that.
Yeah, so All Saints' Day is kind of a day where you would feast, big feast, and that is to celebrate any saints that were lost that didn't have their own day to be honored. Then they'd all be represented on All Saints' Day.
Okay.
When Christianity spread, the traditions of All Saints' Day and Halloween kind of got merged. And started to begin, the roots and develop what we know today.
So there are traditional foods that have roots in Ireland so what would be the feast that you would have? So
it's funny, the celebration of the holiday is about a feast. It's about feeding souls, feeding your soul. It's all rooted around food. It's really interesting. We do have very traditional food for Halloween, which, when I think about like, we don't celebrate Halloween in Ireland, when I'm thinking about the costumes and door-to-door knocking,
Right.
I was so wrong, Barmbrack, which I've mentioned before in the podcast, and then also is a very popular recipe on biggerbolderbaking.com, is a fruit cake. More of a fruit bread. So Barmbrack came to be because remember the harvest that we talked about, fruit would be harvested. And at this point in time, you'd start to make your Christmas cakes. So your Christmas cakes, your Christmas puddings at this time of year in October, that was done back then in the, the olden times. But still today, my mom does it. Most, our kitchens in Ireland make it now. And it was always to represent you had just reaped the fruit from the harvest. Barmbrack came to be because it was believed to be a little bit of a taster.
Okay.
So it was like you made all of your other Christmas cakes, your puddings and everything. You steamed them, you baked them, you wrapped them, and you held onto them for Christmas. Barmbrack was something you could have now, and it's a little bit of a taster of the season to come and the cakes that you had made.
So it's like less soaked, less like it's not like soaked in alcohol.
No, you can have yeasted or not yeasted, more cakey or a yeasted one.
Yeah.
All around Ireland, right now, it's in bakeries and shops. Or you'll make it at home. I actually have some that we're going to taste later, and I'm going to get deeper into more of the traditions around and the superstitions actually around Barmbrack. So you did mention other foods. Colcannon is a mashed potato dish, and which features kale, or as I knew growing up, curly kale. Because did you ever hear called curly kale?
Yeah, because it's different than the lacinato kale. Yeah.
But we always knew it as curly kale. So I remember a few years ago when people started eating kale chips, and I was like, wait a second. Are they talking about curly kale? But so my mom makes the best colcannon. Colcannon is a mashed potato dish. It's to use what was in the harvest again. Curly kale or cabbage. My mom always did curly kale.
My mouth's watering. That sounds so good.
So good. Loads of butter. And then you would do a butter volcano, where you'd scoop your mashed potato, you'd put a dent in the middle and then put butter and then it would be melted.
And was the kale mixed, like cooked into the potatoes?
It was cooked separately and then blended into the potatoes. My mom always used an electric hand mixer to mix her potatoes. She had 5 children.
Yeah.
So like she needed industrial power. That would make it spread. It wasn't lumps of curly kale. It was like all the way through.
So it was like a green kind of.
Do you know what though? It was green. It was a green mashed potato.
Yeah.
Do you know what the funny thing is? I have to ask her. I never figured out how her colcannon stayed so bright in color.
Yeah.
It was always a bright green, like gorgeous.
Yeah.
So I love colcannon. It's a really nice dish. So there's another dish called boxty. It can be made a few different ways. Traditionally in Ireland, it's grated potato fried in a pan. I don't know if you have seen this kind of dish before. Lots of different cultures actually have a type of boxty,
different
like fried
than a hash
potato.
Different than a hash brown?
It's similar to a hash brown, but it's not deep fried.
Right.
It's similar to a hash brown, grated potato fried.
Like pan fried.
Yes, pan fried.
Yeah.
There's there's in France and like other parts of Europe, but that's something that would be quite traditional also.
And I heard something about there being like, it's like you can't eat meat. Everything's vegetarian?
No, I literally just learned this.
Yeah.
Because we know, so in Ireland, Good Friday, the Friday before Easter, you do not eat meat.
Okay.
You would have fish. I literally just learned, and I think a lot of other Irish people are learning at the same time, including my mother, that you're not supposed to eat meat at this time.
And do you know why?
I don't.
Oh, yeah. But don't eat meat.
Don't eat meat. Okay. Now I know. All these
right.
years later, I live in America. So foods like that, they would be eaten on Halloween Eve as your dinner when it was dark. And honestly, even though I never considered it a big food holiday, it actually, when you take a step back and look at like the Irish calendar, Christmas and Halloween are the times that we have like the most traditional food.
So it's so
Funny.
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really interesting.
I think it's tasty too.
Yeah. And then were there, I know there's like a lot of like religious stuff going on, but were there also like, I think about like all the spooky stuff that happens around here. Were there like superstitions that happened around Halloween and food and
A lot of it is based in around superstition.
Uh-huh.
There's one thing about like not spilling salt. I know we always kind of say if you spill salt, roll over your shoulder. Kind of similar in Ireland, where if you spill salt while you're bread making, it can cause misfortune. There's another Celtic tradition. If you're making a dough, you take a little bit of dough and you leave it out for the fairies to bless your home and to bring good fortune. Which we think, and we've talked about fairies before, St. Patrick's Day. And, you know, the blessing of the bread. We're very superstitious. I'm trying to learn this. Did you ever watch The Office?
Yes. Yeah. Sure.
When Michael said, I'm not superstitious. I'm a little stitious, but not superstitious. This is really interesting. I have a story about this. Whistling in the kitchen is considered mischievous and to interfere with dough rising.
That's so fascinating.
And can I tell you something? This is separate, but it happened in Ireland. Specifically in a kitchen that I worked in Ireland, if my head chef heard anybody whistling, he would just lose it.
Really?
Yeah. I think he was just like looking for something to do. But anyway, I remember I remember whistling being kind of like a rude thing almost.
Yeah, right.
And because of that reason, I was a young chef and I remember anybody whistling. I think it might have seemed like disrespectful in the kitchen, maybe. Or maybe they had nothing better. They maybe didn't have enough to do.
Right. If you can whistle, you can, do some dishes.
But they were actually being mischievous. Yeah, exactly. They're actually being mischievous. I love this one. A superstition around midnight baking. That if you bake at midnight on Halloween Eve, it'll ward your house from evil spirits and protect it.
Oh, I kind of love that. I love that. Because I think usually it's like so late when all the kids come back from trick-or-treating and they're hungry. I should stay home and bake them some bread.
Yeah, so get this. So during pre-Christian times, on Halloween night, people would leave food and drinks out on their doorstep to feed spirits and to keep them happy. Probably keep them away from their house. As we're learning from all the traditions about keeping spirits away.
Right.
But that's a form of trick-or-treat. I mean, on your doorstep.
But then would other people go by and eat that? Or was that just for the spirits?
Well, that was for the spirits. But then there's also kind of medieval times, poor people in villages and towns would go knocking on doors looking for food. It was called souling.
Oh, okay.
In exchange, you give them food and in exchange for a prayer for the dead.
Oh, okay.
As it progressed, they take children souling with them, which I think is where the beginning of trick-or-treating.
Oh, sure. Yeah, totally makes sense.
So then in the 1900s in Ireland and in Scotland, kids would dress up and they would start to go door to door. They would sing and recite and they would collect food and coins. And they would dress up and wear masks to ward off spirits.
Oh, that's so interesting.
Which is what we talked about years prior.
So then they went door to door, getting food, and then that sort of evolved into getting a treat or a candy or something.
Yeah. So here's what's interesting. Growing up in the 80s and trick-or-treating during that time, I've said this to other people, we didn't have costumes. So we used to wear trash bags. Black trash.
You just eat nuts and wear trash bags.
We would have nuts. There'd be Brazil nuts. There'd be monkey nuts. We would have satsumas, like the little oranges.
Did you do anything to the trash
yes,
bags?
sometimes we did. My dad in his office had these big aluminum stickers. So we would stick the stickers on. We would have these cheap masks. And I was sharing a photo of kids in Ireland, not myself, but kids in Ireland during the 80s in their trash. It wasn't just our house. It was every house. And then also the masks we used to wear. They were hard plastic masks on our faces that you probably got in the pound shop. There was bobbing for apples. I remember an apple being hung on a string, but there was a lot of nuts, fruit. We did not have candy.
You didn't go door to door to get candy?
No, there was nowhere to go.
Yeah.
And we didn't have candy.
This is so sad, Gemma.
But I actually, it was quite lovely at the time until I came to America and I realized I was just...
Actually, I think there's a real mystery and magic to all the bonfire.
And there was nobody, there was no kids. It was just the good thing there was 5 of us. It was just us.
Yeah.
I remember one time we went down to my dad's office because it was right next door to our house. And we went trick-or-treating to Eileen, who was his secretary. I think she gave us a little bit of money or something. That's all we needed. We were delighted.
Money's good. I'd take money.
Yeah.
Okay, well, what about pumpkin carving? Do you have any kind of
So also rooted in Ireland, and it came from Ireland. You think of, so not pumpkins.
Yeah.
It came from Ireland as people immigrated from Ireland to the United States. In Ireland, people used to carve potatoes and turnips. And that would ward off evil spirits, a little bit like pumpkins today. But we didn't have pumpkins.
Yeah.
Well, I never had pumpkins in Ireland growing up my whole life. I think you can get them. People grow them now because there's pumpkin patches in Ireland, but that was never a thing when I was growing up. I mean, for a long, long time. So they would carve faces into those. They would put a light in the middle, and that would ward off evil spirits. That tradition traveled from Ireland to the United States, where as immigrants landed in the United States and pumpkins were bountiful, during this time of year, they started to carve pumpkins, which were bigger and I'm guessing kind of easier to carve.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
But isn't that fascinating?
Yeah.
Because we didn't even have pumpkins.
Right. But I love how these traditions like have sort of evolved. It's really, it's I don't know, it's just so interesting. It's really like I had no idea about any of this.
Literally, I had no idea.
Yeah.
Until somebody said to me one day, Kevin said to me, he was like, do you know what? I heard that a lot of Irish Halloween traditions come from Ireland. And I was like, no, we dress up in trash bags.
Yeah. Okay.
Is that a tradition?
Can we eat? I'm so hungry.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Ami, for you.
Thank you. So, so you would eat this also?
So Barmbrack you would get every Halloween. And bakeries make it. You get it in shops. I would say yeasted is more common, coming from commercial bakeries.
Yeah. So like more like a bread, like a piece of bread?
Yeah. And it makes awesome toast.
Ooh, yeah.
What I would normally eat it with is butter.
It looks good.
So the cakes.
Can I eat it while you talk?
Yes. The cakes became a way, just like Christmas cake, was to preserve the bounty, the harvest from the season. So fruit, eggs also were free range and scarce.
Yeah.
And butter also. So it was a way to use them up and to keep them preserved. You don't feed a barmbrack, the way like you would a Christmas cake and put alcohol on it. You don't feed it.
But the fruit is really moist. Did you you soak the fruit?
So you just reminded me. And traditionally it is tea based. So you would have like a black tea, like Irish breakfast tea, and you soak the fruit and some citrus overnight in the tea, and then you make your cake the next day.
It's so good. It's really it's delicious.
Imagine that with some butter on it.
Yeah. It's like fruity, and you can really taste that citrus.
The one thing about Barmbrack is there's a surprise inside.
Oh, like a Jesus or something.
Sorry.
No, but you know what I mean? Like the Roscoe de Reyes has a little baby Jesus in it. Sorry.
I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
Like, so what's the surprise?
So a few things. I actually can't find it now.
Is there something?
Yes, there is. So traditionally there's a ring. So when your mom would bring this home, you'd cut it and cut it and cut it until somebody got the ring. It was a very cheap ring. It wasn't even a ring. It was a piece of metal.
Yeah.
Wrapped in a little piece of parchment paper. I'll have to cut through the whole cake to find it.
You should have put a little pin next to where it was.
I should have, yeah. But the ring represents, if you find it, you're the one who's going to be married within a year.
Oh, cool. Did you just like wear the ring? You'd find the ring and then
we would wear it, yeah. But what was put in commercial barmbrack was not, you wouldn't wear it.
Right.
You can also do a pea. A dried pea, the person would not marry.
I feel like that would really hurt your teeth. I feel like you would like more easily find
hurt your feelings, maybe. If you thought you were going to get married.
Oh, I don't know. I was just thinking about biting down on a hard pea because you didn't see it.
If you find a piece of cloth, it means that you would have bad luck. Or you'd be poor, which is bad luck. So two things. If you found a coin, it means you'd be rich.
I love that.
I don't know where the ring is in there.
Now, was a cake traditionally stuffed with all of these things or just one of those?
No, one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It wasn't just kind of like everybody gets something. It was delicious.
Nice, huh?
Yeah.
This is so popular on the website.
Yeah.
Not just because it's quite specific. It's very Irish, it's very traditional. People love it.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Well, this was so yummy, Gemma. And thanks for sharing the barmbrack. And now it is time for the bold baking hotline. Well, there is one question, but I think you've already answered it, which is, isn't Barmbrack made with yeast? Which you've
Both
already said.
ways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's made both
I
ways.
don't have a yeasted recipe on the website.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe, I don't know if it's very different. It's lovely. I love both of them. The yeasted one you can put in the toaster and toast.
Uh-huh.
You can't do that with this one.
That sounds good.
It's yummy, and then you put butter on it.
We should put one of those recipes up on the site. That would be fun.
I know,
Two different ways?
Yeah.
Or is it confusing for people?
It's confusing for Google to be like, why does she have two Barmbrack recipes?
I see.
And we all have to do what Google says.
Okay, fine. All right. Well, and then here's a question about apple cider from Carrie, submitted on the website. She said, I live outside of the States and can't get actual apple cider. Is it the same as apple juice?
No, you cook down the apples, and we have a recipe and a video? Question mark. Ami, do you know that? Kevin, do we have a video? No.
For apple cider.
Apple cider. No. Yeah. Video coming.
Yeah. Oh, very, very cool. Well, you can also have like apple cider if you go to an apple farm, like where you go pick apples, depending on where you are.
Yeah.
Sometimes they have these cider presses where they actually like press the cider between two wooden discs. Apple cider has a lot more fiber in it. It's cloudier, it's darker, it's like tangier. One cool trick that I have found, though I haven't made it enough so that I can really give proportions, but frozen concentrated apple juice better than, like, if you can't find apple cider.
Would that be a substitute then?
It makes baked goods taste pretty appley.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I remember you trying to push that on me a while ago.
Yeah. Well, I made a zucchini bread and I actually used the frozen concentrated apple juice in place of sugar because it's high in sugar, but it also made it taste very appley. And it made me think, like, we have an apple cider donut bundt cake and also apple cider donuts. The bundt cake has you take 2 cups of apple cider and boil it down to 1. And I've been meaning to try it with, I don't know if it would be watered down or just fully concentrated apple juice concentrate, because I just think it's kind of a cool and accessible, and we don't really drink apple juice in my house. So when I have to use apple juice or cider for a recipe and then I'm stuck with like a whole gallon of something, it's nice to have the concentrate that's just in this small form. Yeah. So just another something to experiment with. And I still wouldn't be able to give the answer of, do you dilute it or do you use it full strength? I think you just have to play around.
Can I just mention 2 things? We have 2 apple cider recipes on the website, one for caramels, apple cider caramels, and one for apple cider caramel sauce. If you've never tried those, if you have access to apple cider, definitely try them out. They're really delicious. Aren't they?
They're so good.
So good.
Yeah, it's got this tanginess, but then the caramel.
And then the caramel sauce was so different and like very seasonally appropriate.
Yeah. And apples and caramel are just classic. They're so good. Oh, we have one more apple question. What is the best apples to use in baking?
Well, the best apples to use in baking, it depends on what you're doing. So Bramley apples are what we use in Ireland for cooking. They cook down really well. They make puree almost. It works great for some recipes. Really breaks down. Does not work well if you maybe want to galette. So Bramley apples are so, like, they're devoid of sweetness. In America, I haven't found, there is apples that really do cook down like that well. But for the majority of what we do, Ami, as you know, I often say Granny Smith because they do cook down well, but they do also hold their shape if you're trying to make a galette or something, and they have natural sweetness.
Right.
I have to say I go for a Granny Smith apple also. They're on the cheaper side.
Yeah. Granny Smith is great if you have access, like right now at the farmer's market, even in LA, you can get Mutsu or Pippin apples. Those are nice. There are other varieties of green apples that are pretty tannic that are great for baking. One surprising apple that I have read about and used and can confirm that this is true is a Golden Delicious apple.
Yeah.
They don't taste like much. They are not special. In fact, they're so not special that you don't even really find them in a lot of grocery stores. But if you come across them, try one in a pie. They hold their shape. They're very appley tasting. They work so much better baked than eaten raw.
Yes. And then on that note, what apples are good? Some apples are not good for because they don't lose their shape. for certain recipes. So definitely like have a look around, see what your recipe calls for, see if you need something to puree, you know, something like a Granny Smith. I feel like Fuji apples, I don't think they bake great.
No,
and
well, they do lose their shape. So
they?
a Fuji apple will turn like kind of like a Bramley apple.
Okay.
It will totally break down. So
Oh.
if that your recipe calls for that, you know, you're trying to make applesauce or something. But I think the other problem with the Fuji apples is they're so good to eat. They're so crispy and sweet.
Yeah.
But they don't taste, I don't feel like their flavor is as robust if you've baked it. If you want to use a more commonly found red apple, Honeycrisp or Pink Lady would
You
be
would
better
use
for
a Pink
baking.
Lady for baking?
You can bake with them.
Those are expensive.
Yeah, I know, but you know,
Ooh,
apple
Ami.
pie.
Ami's got an apple budget.
I do. I take my apples
at the
seriously. I just talked about golden delicious apples. Come on.
If you want to find Ami, she's going to be at the Hollywood Farmers Market buying expensive apples.
Every Sunday.
Okay,
Yeah, I think that's it for our questions. So,
great. Is that my part? Is that
yeah, you want to take us out, Gemma?
sometimes I forget. Okay, great. That was fun.
Yeah.
Got to talk about Ireland, talk about Halloween.
Yeah,
I learned a little bit.
I gotta go buy some fancy apples now.
Always with the fanciness on me. As always, thank you to everybody for listening and for watching us on YouTube. Subscribe wherever you listen and watch your podcasts, and we'll see you back here again really soon. From HRN and the Bold Baking Network, you are watching the Need to Know Baking Entertainment podcast.